Welcome, Jimmy and Rhod, to the Rokman podcast. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you.
It's lovely to meet you.
So just so the listeners know, which one's Jimmy and which one's Rhod? I know because I can see your faces.
We sound quite similar, but this is Jimmy.
And obviously that leaves me as Rhod. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like the Welsh Ant and Dec, is it?
Yeah.
Do you have to stand on one side?
Yeah, somebody called us the hairy bikers of the running world before, so
yeah,
that sticks. Yeah,
it's better than I was gonna say it's better than the Welsh Fred and Rose, but that's probably taking a bit too dark. Isn't it? But there we are. We shall move on.
Oh my god,
that's a good start.
But yeah, guys, I had to get you on because I've been watching your community grow for the last few years now. So you guys run a physical and online running club, right? Called the Running Punks.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
So could you give me a bit, tell me, pretend I don't know anything about it. What is the Running Punks? What's it all about? Who wants to take
Do you want to go, Jim?
You go for it. You go for it. Yeah.
Well, it started off, myself and Jimmy were the Running Punks. It was just two of us. And we were just posting online about our running journeys, really. And people sort of related to it, and it started to grow, and people started following and getting involved online, and it grew, and it's grown over the last few years into a pretty big sort of global running community / run club, which is mainly online, but now we have sort of a run club in Cardiff as well, which is doing pretty well. It's a good sort of solid community in Cardiff as well. But yeah, pretty much it's a run club, but it's made up of, I guess, musicians and music lovers rather than your sort of stereotypical runner then. Is that right, Jim? Does that sound all right?
Yeah, definitely. There's no, I don't think there's any stereotypical runners in running punks. Oh God. Oh God. I just had like a really wet stir fry. So I'm full and hydrated at the same time, and I feel my mouth feels a bit slippery. But there's no stereotypical runners. It seems like a good club for beginners because I always compare it to like all my life I've wanted to be, and every time I think I'm going to buy some decks, I look at some videos, tutorials on how to be a DJ, and it blows my mind. It looks like the most complicated thing in the world, and I just think I can't be bothered. I'm not going to buy decks, and I think running is like that for a lot of people. I think lots of people want to get into it, and they maybe like search like what trainers do I need, and then you'll have like a million people. I was going to say guys, it's mostly our guys running around talking about trainers in terminology that even I don't understand, and it's just like immediately off-putting. So we just thought with Running Punks, if it was just a case of doesn't matter what you're wearing, doesn't matter where you're going, you just run. At least the whole thing from the start was like, let's just make it as simple as possible. Let's just, you don't need to know a lot about it. You need some kit, and you need to remember where you live. If you don't remember where you live, you're in trouble. Just remember where you live and just go running. And that it's like, we've made it deliberately simple, and that's the whole ethos. And it's just, I think we just see people who started running because of Running Punks, and they just say like, for the first time ever, running looks appealing. It looks easy. It looks like fun. So that's what we're about, really.
Definitely. And what Jimmy said there about it being complicated, I can relate to that because I sort of got into running only really a few years back, and exactly what Jimmy was saying, I put it off for months because I was reading, Googling, how to start running, how to run a 5K, and it was just popping up saying, buy these trainers and make you run faster. Get these shorts. You need to do this sort of workout. Do fartlek sessions, and I didn't have a clue. I had no idea. I still don't. I don't know what that means. And it put me off. So when we started, we thought, right, let's just make it fun. Let's just make it simple. And there's nothing complicated about it, really. You just put one foot in front of the other and just enjoy it, And that's what we try to do.
Yeah, it seems really inclusive from the outside looking in. It seems like you have everyone there from all different levels, from novice to advanced, and if it looks like the reason you're there is to be together, the running is secondary.
Yeah, definitely. It's Yeah, I know now and again I'll do a post if I run like a PB or something, or I'll run well in a race, but like those kind of posts and statements are very rare. It's mostly about like just what you're listening to, what's going through your mind, like particularly like how was running helped you today. That's you see lots of running punks saying, I wasn't really feeling, I went for a run, I felt good, and that kind of positivity is just, it just catches on and just spreads to the community. So yeah, we just want people going out and run. It doesn't matter, like we kind of deliberately avoid sharing stuff that's got calories burned and stuff, because we're not really generally not interested in that. We're not interested in like, here's a good one for you. We're not interested in what you lose when you run. We're interested in what you gain when you run.
Oh,
I like
oh,
it.
I like that.
I like it. Yeah.
Have you got a t-shirt with that on?
No,
That's a new t-shirt.
I'm just going to make a note of that.
Yeah. T-shirt. I got a Vivian Westwood t-shirt on. Come on.
Oh, look out. Look out.
PK Max special.
I tell you what, it's funny because I've always likened it to that. Whenever if I rewind a bit back, so basically before I started Rokman, the Rokman used to be called the Runs. So I wanted to create a running club as well called the Runs, and it was aimed at sort of, I don't know, blokes and women who like a bit of toilet humor, just normal people. And again, it's sort of like the people who aren't the mainstream, it's away from the mainstream. It's the people who are different. Where was I going through this? Yeah, and the whole idea was just push your limits. It's not about 5Ks, 10Ks. It's not about I need to wear this cap, this top, these trainers. Because I don't know if you're in any other groups. If you look at the forums, the running forums, that's all they're ever talking about. And these are people who they're not giving Mo Farah a run for their money, but they're wearing these Pegasus trainers to shave 6 seconds off their 1 hour, 20-minute 10K. But there's quite a little metaphor. It's like, I can't remember where I've got it from, but it's almost like you're pointing at the moon, but people are too concentrated on the finger.
Yeah.
And they're missing the beauty of the moon. Like they're concentrating on the falseness of it, they're not looking at, no, it's about pushing your limits and getting out and running, enjoying it. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, personally, I've never won a race. I never going to win a race, but I've discovered running, and I know it gives me a whole lot more than winning races or getting a PB or shaving off 6 seconds, as we say, off a PB. It's like I've discovered something which makes me happy and makes me a better version of myself. It's like a secret sauce, and we want to share that and show other people who haven't yet discovered it. That's not what it needs to be about. All right, I get it. For some people, that's fine. They're competitive. They enjoy that side of it, but it doesn't have to be about that. And as we said, it puts a lot of people off. The sort of, when they look at running and they see all the competitiveness, it puts a lot of people off, and we try to take that away and say it doesn't have to be about that.
Yeah. I think like what a lot of kind of people who take they run in really seriously, like the people you were talking about who buy those Pegasus shoes, it's cool. Like it's cool, but if there was a band, that's a band playing like 100 capacity venue with in-ear monitors, or do you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous, but it's cool. I appreciate they're good on them. But the thing is, I think those people don't realize that, like every day you're like almost like a different person every day. When you wake up, you never really know. Particularly when you get to our age, you're pushing 40. You never know how you're going to feel in the morning. You never know, like, if you had a good sleep because you got kids. So every day you're different, right? And you have to run to suit how you are or who you are on that day. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you can have all the best intentions in the world of sticking to a marathon plan that Mo Farah did or Kipchoge did, but those people are in an environment where they can be the same every day. No, I know it because I've been there. Everything is catered, so you perform the same every day. But we're just normal people, and that doesn't happen. So you have to like treat every run. Just go out and start the run, and just work out. Like, be honest with yourself. I'm not really that kind of runner today. And I had it tonight. I wanted to do a fast run. After 2 kilometers, I was like, I'm not. That's not me today. So I just had a gentle jog. And I think a lot of people who like kind of spend so much time obsessing on the kit, the gear, they forget to listen to themselves. They're too busy listening to like the gear they wearing or the trainers they're wearing. Do you know what I mean? They'd be like, they'll blame it on their shoes. or they'll blame it on like, oh, there's new tarmac road, it slowed me down. No, it's just you had like half hour of weird sleep, just go slow, then go home.
Yeah,
there's so much that can affect a day, isn't it? Like I run in the evening, and there's so many factors throughout the day that can affect that run in the evening. Whether it's work stress, as you said, if you had a rubbish night's sleep the night before, if you haven't eaten correctly. It's not to put pressure on yourself and say, I've got to nail this session. On my plan, it says I've got to do 7 2-minute intervals or whatever. Just forget it, like just drop it and just go easy. If you're knackered, just listen to some music and chill, and you'll be in a better place after it. And you can try that. If you're determined to do that session, wait for a better moment or day to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think like when you talk in terms of pushing limits, I think the hardest limit to push is the one where you listen to yourself.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like the final frontier. Listening to yourself is like the hardest journey for some people to do. And with Running Punks, we really encourage that. We really encourage it. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to sound like a hypocrite because I do lots of training plans for people, but I always put notes on there. If you're not feeling this today, don't worry about it. Like just listen to how you are. So yeah, I know every run is different. Just like me and Rod will say, like when you're in a band, every gig is different. You could have a gig the night before and it sounded amazing, right? Everything sounds perfect, and you're playing, you're like, oh my, this is the best we've ever played. You go to a different room the next day and the amps are all set the same, everything's set the same, and it sounds different because the room is different. And I think like we take that philosophy into running, instead of the room sounding different, it's just you just feel different on different days. So just perform to how you can on that day.
I tell you what, I've noticed it as I'm getting older. As like you guys, I'm almost 40 now. I'm 37, but as I'm getting older, I realize my body can't. I really need to listen to it. Otherwise, it could wreck me for a week. And then I won't be able to run for a week. And talk to me about this rock and roll attitude, because that seems to be the difference that separates Running Punks from any other running group, right? It's for people that are slightly different, music focused. But on your website, it says a rock and roll attitude. Talk to me about that.
I don't know.
I guess it's about not caring about what others think of you, especially from a beginner's perspective. Maybe that's sort of, maybe you're feeling self-conscious, maybe you're worried about, just cocking up or, getting injured and things, or not being able to complete the run or not being able to run a certain speed. These, the stresses that come with starting out, and just don't give a damn about it. Like just, forget all that and just go out, stick some music on and just have a blast and, enjoy it. And that, that, I guess the rock and roll element would be, don't give a shit what other people think what you're doing. Don't worry about what others are thinking of you as you're doing it.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. And I think for me, like the rock and roll and the music side of it is find something in common with other people, which is like higher, more important than actual running, like it's easy to connect with other runners over running, but that will only take you so far, because if people outperform you or you think I'm a much better runner than that person, then you might no longer be interested in what they got to say. But if you share in something like music or a love of a certain band or a love of discovering new music, that will always be there. So you could be like a 15-minute 5K runner and a 40-minute 5K runner, but you could both love the same type of music, and that will just allow you to connect. You just keep on connecting all the time. So your running journeys will go in different directions, but your love of art, your love of music will always stay the same. So for me, like that's what the rock and roll is. It's like, okay, by all means chat about your running, but then let's not forget that we love art, we love music, we believe in the power of music to change your life. So there's that element which will never change. So no matter what standard you are as a runner, we've all got this in common. And like that really works. You get people, I've had people get in touch and they'll be like, I've always wanted to run. And you're the first runner I've seen who looks like a good runner, but is into the same music as me. And it's like, it gives them something to talk to you about, something in common straight away. So that's the rock and roll side for me. Is we don't have to talk about running. We're all runners, but we don't have to talk about running. It's absolutely fine.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And another thing, I think, as Jimmy said, we're both musicians as well. And there's something like a musician's high when you have a good gig, which is very similar to a runner's high, I guess. There's the sort of the feeling you get after a run. people get that from playing gigs, from playing music, and it's that connection to music and rock and roll there as well, I think.
Yeah, it's funny because I used to refer to my own runs as rock and roll runs, because I don't know about you, every Saturday I'd be hanging out my ass with a massive hangover, but I'd still get up and do a 5K or a 10K or whatever, and I'd call it rock. It's rock and roll, baby. And it's what you were saying, Rhod. It's the just giving it your all, not caring about the consequences, and just getting out there and doing it. You know, I didn't care if I chuck up, but as long as I did it, it certainly made me feel better. And yeah, well, forgive myself for going out and having a few sherbets on a Friday night.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's rock and roll running. Like, it's just get out there and do it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And as Jimmy mentioned before, it doesn't matter what trainers or clothes you got on as well. It's kind of rock and roll, just to go out in an old pair of Daps and just like when we started, we used to just wear like band t-shirts,
Yeah,
didn't worry if it was the best sort of Nike top that you can buy and stuff like that. It was just like I used to run in Metallica t-shirts and things like that, and people just be like looking and thinking,
I love it. Yeah, you're just cutting the bullshit, you're cutting the crap. Like, as we were saying, you don't need these Pegasus shoes. You could have your old plimsolls from bloody secondary school. As long as you're hitting the tarmac, that's the important thing. And that's what I was on about with the pointed at the moon. People are too pointing, looking at the finger. Get out there and run. Oh, there we are.
Except that finger has accumulated loads of debt.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the bailiffs knocking on the nail.
Everyone's looking at a skint finger. Says the moon. You don't have to pay to look at the moon, so just look at it.
Do you know what? It's a better metaphor than I thought, isn't it? What do you think? What do you think of the fitness industry, sort of corporate fitness industries out there? We've got very different brands to the Nikes and stuff like that. And what do you think they're missing that you guys have got? Because
they are trying to turn running into golf. Like, running is just going up and up. Like golf. I guess back in the day, if you're on like a 30K job, you became into golf because you could afford it. Running is going up and up to that. You see more and more people who are, I don't know, architects for big firms, and they get into running. It's like, stop turning into golf. It should be a cheap activity. And I think a lot of it is, you want to be a good runner, you need all this really cool kit to do it. And I don't know, I think it's a bit, I don't know, like, do they really care about you? I always think that. Do they really care about you? Do they? I don't know. No. I don't know.
I think is they're all about making money, whereas we're all about, or we try to be all about, helping people and setting up a community of people who can support people on their journeys, and it'll be there when they're knackered and they can't be bothered to run, and then you've got somebody there saying, just do it, don't worry about it, just you feel better after. You don't get that from Nike, do you? It's that sort of, it's a community. It's a community.
It is, yeah.
We're not trying to rip people off. We want to help people. We want to help people become, as I said earlier, have a taste of the secret sauce that we've discovered. Like, well, I've discovered it. You discovered it a long time before me. So
it's free, and it's free.
It's a funny one though. Like, they do have their role to play. The big companies do have their role to play, and they do make running appealing. Like, you can't deny that Nike getting behind the 2-hour marathon thing has made loads of people take up running, because they've made marathon running, like, how anybody can make marathon running exciting blows my mind anyway. But they have, so it's good. It's good. Just like it's just with any big corporation here. Just be careful. Just be wary.
Yeah, it pains me when I see people online buying into these corporate fitness groups, and I'm like, no, come over to us, come over to our brands.
What do you mean, like, so like the Nike Strava groups and stuff like that, or I don't
know, they buy into all the kit, and they join their Strava groups, and they identify themselves. Oh, I'm a Nike runner, and it's like, they don't care.
Yeah, right.
They don't. Yeah. It does pain me, but they've got the appeal. They've been doing it for years. They know what they're doing, don't they?
Yeah. Oh my God, they know what they're doing. Definitely. Yeah. I hadn't thought of that. So you got the big brands, then you got the brands running clubs. Yeah. Why would you want to join that?
Exactly. If it's a toss up between the two,
it's like being in a Coldplay fan club or something. You wouldn't, like, fair play. You might listen to Coldplay when you're cooking bolognese for your fancy neighbours, but you don't join the fan club, do you?
Or wet stir fries.
I love a wet stir.
What was in the stir fry? Come on, let's hear it. What stir fry was it?
It's
Why
just
was it so wet? Yeah.
water.
Water noodles.
A wok full of water. corn, courgettes, peppers, chilies, spring onions, a teriyaki sauce.
Nice. It's
And
all about sauce.
I didn't drain the
Vegetables.
noodles properly, see.
Ah,
Any meat? Any meat, or are you a veggie?
I'm trying being a veggie, yeah. So I'm a
How's-
veggie at the moment.
How's it going?
I got a rash all over my body and I'm constantly tired. But at least I'm not absorbing the anguish souls of dead animals. So
Yeah, it's a mild bouts of blindness, but I feel fantastic.
I'll take my weakened state to save a few chicken. No, I feel good. My problem is like, so it's gonna sound silly, but I do like meat. But it just, if I eat meat, it's like, because I don't drink anymore, right? This is mad. Because I don't drink alcohol anymore. I obviously haven't had a hangover for like 2 years since I stopped drinking. You notice how other things make you feel. So like, whereas before, like if I'd had a big burger, I would have had a few beers with it. And then I wake up in the morning feeling sluggish and it automatically, I think, that's the beer. But now it's like, I'll have a burger and I've just had glasses of water and squash and I wake up feeling sluggish. And it's like, oh my God, it's the meat that's doing that to me as well. So
yeah,
it's crazy. Like I'm just able to pick out things that don't kind of like make me feel good the day after eating it. So yeah, meat is one of them.
we'll could probably come on to alcohol and nutrition a bit further down. So hold those thoughts. I got a couple more questions, only one or two core questions, and then I want to dive into your personal backgrounds and sort of where you've come from and why Running Punks exists. But first, how important is it to Running Punk's success, the community aspect of it?
It's everything. Our friend, I think the first person to say was our friend Andrew Plain, wasn't it? He was like Bernie, who kind of helped us at the Cardiff Run Club. He just said, I might be wrong, but I remember him saying, like, every decision you make does it benefit the community? And then we were like, that's kind of what we thought, but we never put it into words before. So that is literally everything we do is, you know, this is cool, but is it good for the community? And yeah, it influences every decision.
Definitely. Yeah, I remember Bernie saying that actually, and it sort of stuck with us. Like I said, we consider that. Is it going to benefit us? Or is it, you know, if it is, don't do it. If it benefits the community, let's do it. You know, that's what it's all about. As I said, it's about reaching out and these people who have sort of joined our community, it's about helping them. Everything's about helping them.
Mm. That's what I've noticed with Rokman, and I think from a human perspective, belonging is like up there. It's one of the top things that we desire as humans, just to belong to a pack, a tribe. And I think you've given that to people. You've given that to people who perhaps maybe didn't fit in where they were or didn't have this close-knit group of friends. And I think it's so much more than running and fitness that you're giving people. I think you're giving them sort of self-fulfillment from the inner. Do you think that they've returned that to you? Has this community helped you?
Nah.
Not at all.
They've made my life worse, to be honest. I'm just constantly retweeting stuff, liking things. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
No, it has. I've said a few times in podcasts, and I honestly believe it, that I know we're going to talk about it later, the drinking, but I wouldn't have had the kind of strength and reason to go sober if it wasn't for the Running Punks community. Because it's one thing to like let your family down and friends down. That's going to happen, right? It's going to happen, and you kind of know they'll forgive you because it's friends and family. So you're like, so what if you take a shit in a phone box because you're drunk? It's like they're going to forgive you. But when it's a community who don't really know, and I just think I could just go on a mad one night and put really random stuff on Twitter, and people know I'm drunk, and I've let a community down, and it's crazy. It's given me a real purpose, yeah. So
definitely, they're so supportive. Like, we are with them, they are with us. It works both ways, and they are to each other. It's incredible. Like somebody will have signed up for a race or something like that, and all of a sudden everybody's got their backs, and and they sort of celebrate with them, and that works with me as well. I mean, recently I've done a couple of sort of longer distance things and challenges for myself, and with the backing of the community, or without the backing of the community, I probably would never have believed that I could have done them. So definitely, they've given me self-belief that I can do these things as well, that I can keep getting better and improving myself.
It's quite funny because I didn't believe in a running community. I thought it was bullshit, right? Because when Rodri said about it, I was just like, what? What's a running community? I don't get it. And so for me, it's just like being in your late 30s and discovering something new about the world is always exciting. And it's just every day I just see him like, this is mad. Like, I didn't even know this existed. This is crazy. But going back to what you said about like the sense of belonging, the importance of it, if you ever want proof that feeling part of a community is important, just look at flat earthers. Look at anti-vaxxers. Like, there's no way they genuinely believe all that stuff. There's no way people believe the world is flat. But by convincing themselves they believe it, they're part of a community. Like, do you know what I mean? That's the power of belonging. You'll believe some total garbage.
Is running punks a cult?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I just happen to wear robes on stage in my band. It's not a cult. It's not a tribe either. I hate the term running tribes. I hate that.
Yeah.
That kind of like hints that there is a leader and it is closed off and it's in a really hard part of the world to find, but it's not. It's just community. It's everywhere. It's not a tribe.
Yeah. How much responsibility do you feel to the team now? Because obviously at the start it was just you and you were getting a few people involved, but now you've built this community. You know how much it means to them. Jimmy, you were just saying about like you don't want to get pissed and write. You know, there's a pressure there. I don't want to get pissed and write on Twitter some mean things because I've got this community to lead. Do you feel a responsibility now? And is it making you a better person to make better decisions?
Definitely. I don't know if it's making me a better person. I think the running does that for me. But then I kind of run for the community a lot. You know, like sometimes I can't bother to run and I'm like, I should do really because all these people are running because of the running punks community. So I should go for a run. So I guess it does in that way. It makes me a better person. Definitely.
It gives some accountability like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It does. Like, the community is like a deadline for me. Like, do you know, if I got a deadline, I'll have to do something. The running punks is like my daily deadline. I just think, oh God, I really don't fancy doing this thing. And I look at the community like, oh my God, I got to do it. That's the community. Oh, there's a deadline. I got to do it.
But also seeing people within the community doing it should just make me want to do it as well. You know, seeing people who have got up, 5 a.m, and I'm waking up and they're already home having their breakfast by the time I've got up and things. I'm thinking, oh, I need to get my ass in gear. Let's go for it. Let's go.
There's a runner on Twitter who runs, Dan. He runs like 5 every morning, and the first thing I do every morning is retweet Dan. That's the first thing I do every morning is share his run. So that's amazing. Like,
there's that guy Andy. He runs up the mountain.
And Andy,
just in the dark every morning, pretty much. He's got a head torch, him and his dog. And you see that and you're thinking, you can't see anything in front of him where he's going up the mountain.
Yeah.
And you think, well, if he can do that in the dark first thing in the morning, then I'm going to go for a run now.
It's good. It's like a chain reaction of inspiration, isn't it? And it makes you up your game.
It is totally. And it's kind of, I don't know, like coming from bands and stuff, I think if you're in a band, I don't think everything you do is with a good intention. Like, I think you do stuff because you might have like an ego that needs to be satisfied, or you might have you need to sell records, or you doing it because you want to go on tour. With running punks, like, I just find whichever angle you look at it, it's all come from a good place. It's all come from like a really sincere place as well. And by being like that, it's turned things like Twitter, which can be quite nasty, where people can kind of hide behind their Twitter personas. It's turned into a real place. Like, these people on Twitter now, the running punks community, they're not like avatars. They are. You look at it and you go, that's the actual person. And it's crazy to go on Twitter and be like, I'm actually interacting with genuine people because everything we're doing is coming from a good place. There's no bullshit about it. It's not fake. There's no ulterior motive or whatever. It's just, this is genuine. Like, this is people who love running because running makes them better. This is a community united by the fact that they know running makes them better. These are real people. Like, I hardly met any of them, but I consider them friends. If one of them broke down outside my house, I'd go out and help them change a tire. I wouldn't do that for my dad if he broke down outside.
But so let's find out a bit about you two guys then. So, Rhod and Jimmy, who are you? What are you doing now? What do you do for work? Have you got kids? Where are you living?
Me and Rhod live together.
Are you upstairs? Are you upstairs and Rod's down in the kitchen at the moment?
Yeah.
Jimmy's in the living room. Can you record EastEnders?
Rhod has got a wet stir fry to eat after this.
It's in my mug. The stir fries in there.
Yum yum.
Go on, Rhod.
What do I do for a living outside of running punks? I'm a teacher. Yeah, I'm a primary school teacher. Yeah, I've got a wife and two children, young children, 2 boys who are 18 months and 6 years old. So it's quite intense, with a young family, and a job like being a teacher is quite full on in blocks. And then it's a struggle to fit the running in around that at times. But yeah, I make it work. It's all good.
Jimmy
is the full-time running punk.
Yeah, kind of a full-time running punk. I work at a place called BIM in Bristol. It's a music university. So I teach there once a week, and I kind of mentor and do tutorials on like just creativity, teaching people creative habits to be creative. So I do that once a week. At the moment I've got like a job writing for Runners World once a month. So they send me off to like random races. Well, me and Rhod did one together, and we're going to do the next one together as well. So that was kind of part of the thing. I was like, I want Rhod to do it with me. So we did the fan dance last month together. So I wrote that. I think that'll be in Runners World next week. So I do that. I do online training plans for people, and I just pick up bits of money where I can, basically. And it's stressful as hell, but it's cool. It's cool. And I got 2 kids.
Yeah. How old are they?
4. Yeah, Tommy's nearly 5 and Lily is, I think, 15 months.
Yeah, I've got 2 kids myself. I've got a 2.5-year-old and a 1/2-year-old, and it's intense, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's intense, especially when you're trying to fit in fitness and running a company and all this. But
yeah,
it's funny you said you did the fan dance. I remember now. You did the fan dance the same day I was doing my 10 van challenge.
That's right.
I don't know if you saw me. I don't know if you
Yeah.
saw me there. It was the same bloody day. But so I was finishing. Yeah.
you were there the same day.
Yeah, I was going up. I was going up and down 10 times.
Oh, were you?
In 24 hours, yeah. And you
Why?
started at night. Oh, Jesus. I asked myself to this day, why?
That was enough.
No, you've got to push your limits. You've got to have, and it's nice to have your own challenge. I don't know, but I need challenges that excite me now.
Okay.
Quite often, like half marathon maybe doesn't excite me anymore because I've done a few of them, and it's about leveling up and where we can go. And but I was there. I remember. I didn't see you. I saw you on photos after. I was like, they were bloody there. We should have said hello or something if we saw each other.
It was.
Yeah, I remember seeing you. Yeah, it was horrendous, wasn't it? But
the weather, yeah.
I remember seeing your post the following day, actually. Yeah. But yeah, that it was brutal. Absolutely. The wind, wasn't it? It's all about the wind. I remember
freezing.
Climbing up Jacob's ladder, the steep ascent, and the wind just blew us off our feet, took us off, and we had these heavy packs on our backs, and I was just like a tortoise on my back. I just couldn't get up. And I was just like rolling. It's insane.
What was the weight on your back?
It was
20 kilos, isn't it? It was just
25 kilos.
25 kilos, yeah.
Plus 3 liters of water and food.
Yeah.
It was more like 30 odd.
How did you find it?
To be honest, like the weight of the bag, once you got the bag on, was all right. I don't know. Do you think, Rhod? I thought like putting the bag on was solid. Like
yeah.
I nearly fell over about 5 times by my car, just on my own, trying to put the bag on. But once it was on, it was kind of all right. It felt like this is okay. But it's like the hardest thing I found about it was, when something starts hurting, I'll run faster. So I'll run faster, so it was over quicker. I'm like, oh my God, I can't handle this anymore. I just got to keep on going and going. And I'll just pick up the pace, like 10Ks, half marathons. You could not go any faster. So you just had to kind of I don't know, just sit in and just know there's nothing you can do about this suffering. That was the maddest bit for me. It was like, you've just got like, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
It's just here to stay.
Settle in.
I didn't mind it. Like once, as Jimmy said, once it's on and you're moving, it's okay. But then after like an hour, I could feel it in my shoulders. You know, it was just like constant, just digging into my shoulders.
It was so funny though. When it started, me and Rodri, honestly, like for the first 2 miles, we were like, "This is fucking easy." Honestly, and I was doing videos on Instagram live, going, "SAS full of pussies. This is easy." I'm just shouting on a mountain. This is fucking easy. What's the problem? And we were just laughing, weren't we? Like, I was like, we could win this.
When we started, we headed off, and like they set off that firework or whatever, and everybody just started walking, and we were looking at each other, going, "Why isn't anyone running?"
Yeah,
you know, trying to get pushing people out the way. Let's run! Come on, we want to run.
And then all of a sudden, though, it just I don't know what happened. It was literally like I put my foot on the floor, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's changed! Like I can't do this." I went from thinking this is easy to thinking I can't do this. I don't want to be here anymore. It's mad.
Catches up quick.
I never learned my lesson. I'm
going to get on to the next one as well, because I was just looking at the time. We're almost an hour in, and we've got loads to go. But well, we'd stay all night, isn't it? You were both bandmates then. Tell me how you met, and how did Running Pumps come about then?
Well, we were bandmates like years and years ago, Mike, not recently. Like when we were in school, pretty much, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I think Jimmy had a band, and I think that the drummer left or something, or they were looking for a drummer, and I just stepped in and started playing drums for them.
I think we were like 16, and we had a gig in a strip club in Cardiff or something like that, and he sacked it off. He's like, I can't do it. And then we asked you, because it was like, Rod, do you want to do it? And then we didn't practice or anything, did we? We just did
straight in, yeah.
And it was awesome. Was that the gig where I cut the power in the venue? Because I can't remember. There was one gig where I put my head through a light and then there was a power cut. I can't remember. I don't know if it was that one. So yeah, we did that, and then kind of like knew each other. I was in the same class in school as Rodri's wife. So I knew Heather, and then we just saw each other like doing a Slattery half. Well, was it a Slattery half marathon or a Great Welsh half marathon? Yeah,
the Great Welsh. It's like a double event on the. So this was how many years ago? 3 years ago.
2019. Yeah, 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Exactly 3 years ago, I think.
Yeah. And they do two events at the same time. They do the half marathon and the marathon. And foolishly, I signed up for the marathon and shouldn't have done it. Like I wasn't. I remember I had like an Achilles injury, and I thought, well, I've been training for this a long time. I'm going to do it anyway. So this isn't advice for anyone, by the way. Don't if you got an Achilles injury, don't run a marathon. Please don't do it, because I strapped it up and I took some ibuprofen and I ran a marathon. I say ran. I walked the second half, to be honest. But during that marathon, Jimmy was doing the half and he was absolutely flying. I remember just in a world of pain, like it was an out and back thing. So the half marathon runners were coming towards us as we were going out, and I just clocked him coming towards me. I just went, "Hey!" shouted, "Jimmy!" and he just slapped my hand as hard as he could. I just remembered my hand, and like for a moment, my Achilles felt fine because my hand was hurting so much.
That's how you push your limits, Rod.
Yeah. So just like after losing sort of touch, for years and years, we sort of reconnected and literally, reconnected.
Yeah, definitely. Like Rodri was one of the first people when I started my whole teenager, like acting like a teenager, because I'd fallen in love with running again when I was 37. He was the first person to kind of say, "This is cool. Like this is inspiring me." So yeah, we reconnected, and I didn't even know Rod was into running. So I was like, "Oh, yeah, Roddy's into running. What's going on here?" So
well, I hadn't been into running for that long, to be honest. And hindsight, great thing. Like I said, running a marathon that early on into, I just sort of started off with the 10K. That just went like, I could do 10K. I didn't die. Let's do 10 miles. Didn't die. Let's do a half marathon. Let's try a marathon. And like I said, I wouldn't advise that for anyone. I rushed it really, and and suffered because I was out for a while after it with our Achilles then. But
yeah, it's a big bloody difference from half to full marathon. I've learned that the hard way as well. Similar story. But Jimmy, you're actually you're quite an accomplished runner yourself, right? Back in the day,
Yeah, shit hot.
800 meter indoor Welsh champion.
Yeah, Welsh champion, British champion, 6 in the world champs, Welsh record holder. Broke the Welsh record twice in one weekend in Moscow. Yeah, you know, like I always say to people, like, if your dad says he's fast, he wasn't as fast as me.
Yeah, he probably wasn't. He ain't got the medals, is he? Yeah.
So yeah, no, I was like a serious runner for a few years.
Mm.
And then I fell out of love with the sport. And then I just ended up playing in a band, and then I ended up joining my favorite band, which was Wacky, and I got the tour of the world with my favorite band. And then that went wrong, and then I started running again. It was like a interesting little journey.
Yeah, you said you stopped the running because it consumed you. What do you mean by that?
It was kind of like I used to run because I enjoyed it. Like that was the only reason I ran, was that I just loved it. And I grew up in a place called Cherokee, and I was running up and down the mountains a lot. That was my training. That's what like naturally made me strong and fast. I wasn't aware of it, but because I was running up hills so much, like quite fast, I had this like big, good endurance engine and strength. And I found running on a track, I think I'm not being arrogant, but I found it quite easy. When I started doing it, I was like, this is all right. Like I'm enjoying this. And I made my way through like the ranks really quickly. I think I had like my first British vest as a senior athlete, maybe like 3 years after I started running properly on the track. So it was super quick. And every race I loved it, and I saw it as like, because I was young and stupid, I saw it as like a little performance, and people would say things to me. I've never seen anybody run a race like that. That was great. And I used to do things like I'd speed up every lap, or I'd put a little random, I'd try and break the people I was racing in what I thought was like fun ways. I'd have fun with it. And then as soon as I had that big breakthrough at the World Championships, and I kind of like landed on the world stage, I guess it was like the first time people were like, okay, this bit of a character from the valleys is actually like a world-class athlete. It all just changed, and I was no longer running because I loved it. I was running because I had to tick boxes, or I had to make people happy. And that's when it kind of consumed me. That's when it became a different sport, like to the point of I was running around the track and it didn't feel like I was running. It felt like I was kind of I don't know, like meeting checkpoints around the track. Like I knew I had to be at certain parts of the track in certain times, and it was just, I never used to care about any of that. Even in the World Championships, the gun would go and I just ran how I felt. So yeah, it just kind of consumed me. It just exhausted me. I felt like I was kind of being treated like a racehorse. Do you know what I mean? It was weird. It was like, does no one, it's just like, you just get out there and race. And it was weird. It just, in the matter of a couple of months, how I felt about the whole sport just changed.
And it's funny. Is Jimmy still there? He's frozen a bit. Is he back? There he is. He's back. You froze a bit there, Jimmy.
Yeah, that's the existential.
Can you just say that story again? You cut out. Sorry.
Basically, I failed the drugs test. I did.
It's funny. It's funny because how much did joining a band save you then? Because obviously you thought, right, this ain't for me no more. This is for me. I want to be in a band. And then you've both got a similar story, right? In that over like 10, 15 years of being in a band and living that band lifestyle, it's a slow burner, but you ended up in a bad spot again, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think in hindsight for me is, if I'm in a situation where I'm not comfortable, I'll go into self-destruct, and I'll just, without being aware of it. So it happened like towards the end of my running career. I was getting drunk a lot. I was being a dick. I was like being sick on planes with professional athletes because I was so hungover. And that was my body just saying, like, I know now in hindsight, you're not in control anymore. Like this is not a situation you're happy in. So I'm gonna make it bad for you. So you have no choice but to leave. And the same happened with the band. The band, I was loving it. It felt like a dream come true. And then all of a sudden I just started acting like a dickhead and started drinking too much. So yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird one. Like, I think I'm always after freedom. I'm always after the ability to just like do what I want and do what I think means a lot to me, like expressing myself. So I felt like with running, that suddenly stopped when it became really serious. And I felt like with the band, it just got to a point where it's like I couldn't really things were happening in the band where I wasn't allowed to express myself how I wanted. So when that came to an end, it was just like, right, I got to find something else to do now. And that was like a 9 to 5 job in a factory.
Brilliant. Tell me about your health as well. How was your health affected? Because I've seen some sort of you've got a side-by-side photo.
Yeah,
on,
I put
on
one
the
up
running
today.
punks.
Yeah, because I ran off. I did a run last night, and it was like I hardly ever run late at night. Anything after like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I struggle, and I was so busy yesterday. I had to run at like 9 o'clock at night, and I had the same kit on. I didn't do it on purpose, but I was out running. I was like, oh my god, it's the same kit I wore my first run in 2019. And I was running the same loop that I did. And I was like, this is wacky. And I kind of relived that first run in my head. So I did that side-by-side post. But yeah, my health got really bad, really bad. My mental health was bad, like having panic attacks, it's like constantly feeling guilty, feeling that everyone was out to get me. I mean, I had quite a nasty episode with like a stalker. And that was happening during a time when I was drinking a lot. So this horrible thing was happening to me, but because of all the booze, I was blaming myself for it. So I was just in like a place where I felt like my life was going to shit and there was nothing I could do about it. It was, it wasn't good. And I just, like, I remember putting a pair of socks on, and for the first time I noticed I had like man boobs. I was like, oh my God, I've really put on weight. And I saw a few photos around Christmas time, and I was like, yeah, I'm not in a good shape. I'm not in a good way at all. Yeah.
Was it similar to you, Rod? Is this
a little bit different? I mean, obviously, like being in bands and things. I slightly different to Jimmy. I didn't spend a long time sort of touring and things like that. I've done a bit, but not as much. But just being in a band isn't the healthiest of lifestyles. I mean, some bands do focus on their health on the road and things like that, but I think the majority, and it's people join bands. A lot of people, not everyone, sorry, join bands because that lifestyle appeals to them. It's like that rock and roll lifestyle, and it's certainly sort of, if you're in a band when you're young, that's what you're after. You're after to just drinking and having fun, and and it was a case of like just boozing, eating rubbish food and things like that, and it does, in the end, it catches up with you. And funny enough, somebody tagged me in a photograph on Facebook the other day, and it was a photo of me from like, I was just left university, and at the time I didn't go straight into a career or anything. I was focusing on music, and we were working on songs and things like that, and I was just gonna try and do as well as I could with the band. And I was like 16 stone, and
16.
16 stone. I was about 15 and a half stone, something like that. And I was big, I was big. And I remember at the time, I just thinking, right, I got to sort something out. And I had like a muck job then, just a job. It was a factory job, just a job, just to get by, so I could focus on playing in bands and things. And it was random. It was in the factory in a unit, and we used to go to the pub at lunchtime. And we used to drink like 3 or 4 pints of Stella at lunchtime. And it made the afternoons amazing. Like, I used to love the afternoons in work then. But then, as I said, I made this decision to try and sort myself out. So I joined the gym, and I was going straight from work, but I was going like to the pub at lunchtime, and then going to the gym after work. And
that's rock and roll. That's rock and roll.
I remember just running to the changing rooms a few times, just puking and things. Guys, it's not good. But yeah, I didn't stick to that, to be honest. And it didn't, the sort of gym and things, and it took me a while. And then it did, just something clicked, and it was, I think it was before my wedding, actually. I was sort of right, okay, these photos are probably going to be up on my wall, on my parents' wall for the rest of my life, forever. I don't want to look like this type thing. I was quite self-conscious and how I looked and things. So yeah, I joined the gym again, but obviously without the lunchtime boozing this time. And I basically, it was just treadmill, just got on the treadmill and ran, and I built up from like 1 kilometer to 2. And this was before I sort of got into running again. But I got up to 5K, and I basically did 5K every day. And that's what I did. And I went from being about 15 stone at that point, and I got down to like 10 stone in a matter of 6 months. And then like people were coming up to me going, I was out and seen some people for a couple of months or whatever, and see them on a night out, and they were asking me, "Are you all right? Are you ill?" and things like that. And yeah, they couldn't believe it. And then I was thinking, well, and then I got self-conscious then for being too skinny. So then in the gym, I was on the treadmill doing my 5K, and I could see these guys over in the section, you know, I think, well, maybe you should try that. And I'm a little bit like that, where I get obsessed, like I got obsessed with doing 5K every day. I had to do 5K every day. And then I got obsessed about, I had to do this weight training to try and change the way I looked and things like that. And I neglected the running thing then completely. You know, I went from doing 5K a day to not doing any running for like 5-6 years. You know, I didn't do anything at all.
Oh, really? There was a huge gap.
Yeah. This was like way back. This was like 2012, something like that. Yes, it's crazy. And I didn't do anything at all. And then, like I said, it was all about the weights and, you know, just being in the gym, and I wanted to be strong. I wanted to be, you know, feel good. But then I had a baby, and
Yeah,
that went out the window, completely out the window then. Yeah, so that happened. And then it was like, right, I haven't got time to go to the gym. What can I do? Well, I can go for a little run. And then I started running again. And then that's when I realized then the other benefits of running as well. That's where I realized actually how rubbish I had been feeling, both physically and mentally. And all of a sudden, like, something clicked. And I thought, why haven't I been doing this? You know, why haven't I been doing this all my life? You know, and outside, I never run outside before. You know, I was always on a treadmill previously. And all of a sudden I was running outside, and I just loved it. Absolutely loved it. And
it's funny. We've got some t-shirts with daily exercise written across it.
All right, yeah.
You really do. You do go out there and you battle your demons, and you feel much better for it afterwards. And I've got a similar story myself. I'm not sure if you're aware, but like, I got myself into a pretty bad state, physical and health state, and that was just through after university. Just, you know, living on your own. You've got a job, bit of money, just going out partying, drinking, smoking, takeaways. You know, maybe some naughties every now and then. And I think it is a slow burner. It was like 6, 7, 8 years. And it was just looking in the mirror, and I was like, what the hell is happening? And I always used to do challenges and half marathons. And I got back into it, and I lost 3 stone. It's not the 5 you lost, Rod, but it was, you talk about that secret sauce, and it is. And that's where Rokman came from. I wanted to bottle that. I was like, this is it. All you have to do is go out and suffer a bit. And if you suffer, you get the rewards back. It just mellows you out, and physically, mentally, all around well-being. We focus on mental resilience at Rokman. That's our focus. We believe that by pushing your limits, you increase your resilience, which enables you to deal with the stresses and pressures of everyday life. What's your understanding of resilience, and how important do you feel it plays on everyday life and performance?
I think for me, resilience for me is having like just the courage to dive in when it's quiet and be honest with yourself. I don't so much do it anymore, because I've kind of, even though it's like a cliche, but I have put a lot of demons to rest. So my runs are a lot more pleasurable now. I use my runs to be creative and have like a bit of fun. But certainly back in the day, my runs were quite, it was like torture, because I wasn't really running with music. I was running with my thoughts, and I was kind of just going through why I'd got myself in a situation. You know, how am I like this now, when I had a life that kind of promised so much twice? I had a life that promised a lot as an athlete, and I had a life that promised a lot as a musician in a band. And how am I now in this situation where nothing is really going my way, and it's all a bit shit, and it doesn't look like there's a way out? So my resilience was like the hardest part of my running. I should say, like, I tend to not run so it's hard. I see consistency as more important than like your runs being hard. I just think that the hardest bit is to keep your running consistent, and that's how I've always felt. And I think that was part of my thinking as a professional athlete, was like, you'd have coaches saying you don't have to kill yourself every session, you just have to keep on coming back week after week, and then you get better that way. So at the start, my runs weren't hard. They weren't hard at all, but just the hardest bit was spending that time alone with myself and just being really honest. And that was where like the biggest change came, really. It was kind of like, I knew that running had allowed me that chance to do it. I wouldn't have been able to do that I couldn't have sat in Starbucks and been that honest with myself, or I couldn't have sat in the Burger King drive-through and been that honest with myself. But running before the sun comes up on your own, you ask yourself real serious questions like, am I a dickhead? And then you're like, yeah, I probably am. So that was my resilience, was like really learning to be honest with myself.
it's funny. Go on, Rod. Sorry.
No, I similar really, but I think mine sort of split into two. Same really. I run to clear my mind, probably 90% of the time, and it is just not necessarily to clear my mind, but not to push myself. Then it's for the enjoyment of running and just to clear my mind of anything that I'm thinking about and things, and just to switch off as well. But then the second part, then I guess for me, I'm quite sort of still quite new to the running thing, I guess, and I like to see what I'm capable of as well, and I like to push myself. And as I said earlier, I've never won a race, I never will, but I do like to see if I can do certain things. Like I recently did a backyard ultra, just because I heard about this crazy concept and I wanted to see what I could do in that situation. So then the resilience thing plays into that, and it went well. I enjoyed it. It went from being finding it quite comfortable to being a world of pain towards the end, and you've got to dig deep. But I quite enjoy that. It's strange. I quite enjoy that feeling of my legs about to just cave in in a strange way. And then that certainly does, as you've mentioned, then plays into other aspects of my life. Then, if I can keep going in a situation like that, for 12 plus hours, then and endure the sort of discomfort, then in other aspects of life, on a day-to-day basis, if something challenging comes up at work or whatever, then I find it easier to sort of wrap my head around it and solve a problem quicker than having been in such a situation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Rodri's a lot tougher than I am. Like, generally, I saw that on the fan dance. I was fucked. I just wanted to throw myself off a mountain, and Rodri was just like, he looked fresh the whole way through. So I think you can definitely, Rodri embraces the painful side of training more than I do. I'm honestly,
but then in a speed session, if I'm asked, or if you ask me to do a session where I'm doing intervals, I'm in a world of pain, and I hate that discomfort in a speed session.
I find running fast easy because that's like what I've always done. So it's different. I don't know. Like you just find where you can. We're all different. Just find where you can challenge yourself in different ways. So for me, like the biggest challenge is that we're doing 100K race in May. I haven't got a clue how I'm going to do it. Rodri's probably pretty confident he can finish it. I don't even know if I can find parking for the start line. 100K. I just about managed 10 tonight.
It's funny you were talking about going out running and being able to sort of sort your problems out, because when I go running, I never take music, and I know you guys do. You do your music and stuff, and we'll probably go on to that afterwards. But it's where in your day do you usually get an hour to yourself, away from phones and distractions and everything, and all you've got is your thoughts? You don't get it anymore. And I think people that don't have this sort of, I call it's like a meditative state, really, isn't it? It's if you don't have that time for yourself, these people will never solve the problems going on in their lives. I put all the world's problems to rights when I'm out on a run. Do you agree? Yeah,
I definitely agree. And I think one thing about, you talk about the meditative state there as well. People forget the meditation is uncomfortable as well. So it's not like, I'm just having a nice, meditating sounds really nice and relaxing. No, it's not. It feels like it drags. And that's what running is like for me. I don't know. Like, I just realized I started running again January the 1st. By like February or March, I realized that I'm spending time with myself here that I haven't done for like 10 years. 10 years. I felt like I was catching up with myself, Felt like I was like meeting myself again for the first time. It was mad. And then little things like, I've always said that going teetotal, the hardest thing for me was like accepting that I'm a sensitive person. And it was mad when I realized that I'd hidden that part of my personality through drinking and acting like a dickhead. I realized I was a sensitive person. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I forgot that. Little things, and spend time in your own head, like just with no distractions. It's amazing what you will work out. Definitely.
It's like you said, life is so manic at times, isn't it? With job, family, and things like that. Just to take half hour a day, just to take yourself out of that, And just like I said, sometimes it's nice just to focus on just putting one foot in front of the other and not think about anything. But then other times your mind is just going places where it's allowed to go, where it hasn't been allowed to go throughout that day. And like I think Jimmy has mentioned it before, it's like you get ideas for example, writing songs or things you want to do, you know, whatever. You just, things start flowing after, like, I find after about 20 minutes of a run, my mind starts to wander, and all of a sudden these things start sort of popping into my mind. And or if you, like I've said this before, but if you think of you're online and you've got like 1,000 sort of browser tabs open at the top, and then all of a sudden when you're on a run, you sort of starting to sort of close the ones which aren't important, and then you open one which is, and then you give it a bit of time and think through it and work things out, and then you close it and move on, for example, or you leave it open to sort out when you get home. Does that make sense? You sort of
perfect sense.
Sifting through things and thinking. And
That's a good analogy. That's a good analogy. I like that.
Thank you. And my wife always says, she still says it now. She said when I started running, she was always said this. She said, "You're a different person when you come back from a run than you are before you went." Like you Definitely. Are. And I just sort of calm, and pretty calm anyway, you know. But you know, just clear thinking. Then that's what it gives me.
I tell my wife, you got to treat me like a dog. You got to walk me for an hour a day. otherwise I'll be a worse husband, worse father, you know.
Yeah, I like it.
I find oh sorry, one more thing just to chip in go on. Is that like one of the big things I learned from running was that the only person who knows you is you. You know, like I realized there's so much of how I saw myself was like what other people have said to me, how other people had told me like what I am. You know, lots of men with delicate egos kind of telling you what type of person you are, and you start believing that, and running really gives you a chance to realize like the only person who really knows me is me. That comes from like literally that came from running, like because you show yourself what you're capable of as a runner, and you realize I didn't really know I could do that, and you think, well, there's a lot of things you don't know about yourself. And I started having this conversation with myself like, did you know this about yourself? And I was like, oh my god, I forgot that was like that. So yeah, the only person who really knows you is you. And that's really important.
Like Rhod was saying, it is a journey of self-discovery. It really is. As cliche as that is, you discover your true character, I think. When you're put under the pressure, when you put in the pressure cooker. It's the only thing that rises to the surface is your true character in these moments of high, I call it high stress, you know, a run. I'm interested, guys, what inspires you and how do you stay motivated?
Fucking got no motivation.
Depends what day of the week it is, really. My motivation levels. I don't know. Like I said, for me, I'm still sort of trying to see what I'm capable of doing. And like we mentioned, these sort of 100K races and things like that. I have no idea if I can do it. So that's motivation, just to see if I can. Like I said, when I started running, it was like I did 10K, it didn't kill me. Did a half, didn't kill me. Did a marathon, okay. I'm obviously not going to try and kill myself, but I want to see where my limit is then, and that's motivation for me with running on my personal running journey. Does that make sense? And then helping others is motivation. Helping others through Running Punks, definitely. And trying to help others, you know, on their journey as well, and support them through their journey. It's a lot of motivation for me.
Has it given you a deeper purpose, a meaning to your life, Running Punks?
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's probably my main motivation is Running Punks. Running Punks, being happy, and I just want to be absolutely ripped so I look good in the summer. That's my.
That's fair. That's fair. Completely fair.
I think my main motivation is, and it sounds really wanky, but just art. Right? I just love being able to create things, and I know the running gives me the best opportunity to do that. So I'm motivated by running. Just give me this like way to keep on thinking outside the box, get to know myself, and the Running Punks community. I guess with races come in as well. I'm a bit motivated by them. I kind of realize how little training. Oh yeah, I'm massively competitive, but I'll never admit it to myself. It's only once that gun goes, I realize. I have this like joke that I tell myself that when I'm racing, it's not me. Do you know what I mean? I just become like an animal. I really do. Like I run in ways I can never do in training. And part of that is what more makes me not worry about bad days when I'm running, because I know it'll be all right. If I hear a gun go and I see other people running, I'll just become like this dog and I'll just chase them and it's fine.
Can I just add, we ran the Llanelli half marathon, and it was the first time that we got a load of running punks from around the UK together. They all made the journey down and stayed in Llanelli, and we were all on the start line. And me and Jimmy said, look, we're not going to race it. We're going to run it as a group, and we're just going to enjoy it and chat and things like that. And you could see Jimmy, as soon as it started, Jimmy was just like a dog. He was just back and forth. And what he ended up doing, he was like, there was some running punks who were pushing themselves to PBs and things. So Jimmy was going ahead and pushing them forward, but then he was stopping or turning around, running back, meeting up with the ones who were just enjoying, doing a bit with them. And then he catch them up and push them forward. And he must have done about 16, 17 miles, I think.
I think so. I think I ran like a 17-minute last 5K to catch up with the people who were going for PBs.
but he just didn't stop. He honestly didn't stop. And you could just see his race mode. He was just like back.
It is mad. It is mad. But like back in the day, I used to be like that. I'd be on the bus going to the track to run for Great Britain, and I'd just be like, yeah, like whatever. And then as soon as I got on the track, I was like, oh my God, I got to win this. I've got to do it. Like, do you know what I mean? I just got really excited. Racing excites me. It really does. It really excites me. But that, yeah, and it makes me competitive. So.
Well, what's the most important thing you've learned from either running or running punks or life in general? What's the most important thing you've learned?
Coffee gives you the shits.
It sounds like you've learned the hard way. Yeah.
Don't have a Barocca before a run. Most important thing I've learned. What? Oh God, that's
it could be about yourself.
What?
I'm still learning. I'm yet to find it, to be honest. I don't know.
I think for me is that I understand albums better when I'm running. Like I'll understand what people are trying to do with albums when I'm running. My brain will just kind of, I feel like I tap into this universal subconsciousness. Like definitely, do you know what I mean? I'll run and I'll listen to an album and then I'll start feeling all this crazy stuff, and I'll do like a running review. And people will get in touch saying, do you know anybody who worked on that album I made? No. You've literally said something that only someone in the studio would have known. You know, and I just...
Tell the listeners, so you review albums when you go running, right?
Yeah. So I'll chuck an album on and then I'll just run and I'll talk about it.
You film it, don't you? You film yourself.
Yeah.
He doesn't just talk about it, he shouts.
I go mental. I go absolutely mental. Like I'm just screaming. Someone said they could hear me about a kilometer away the other day. And I sit there and I try and edit it together so it makes some kind of sense. But I say things, I just react to the music in ways that I probably wouldn't if I was just sitting down at home. So I think the biggest thing I've learned is that when I'm running, my brain kind of is not worried about making mistakes, or I'm not worried about making mistakes. I think that's the biggest thing I've learned. Is like if there's something going on in your life which requires taking a risk, go for a run and think about it, because that risk will seem a lot smaller. I think, like I'm 39 years old running around the woods shouting. So like everything just seems not important compared to that. Any decision I gotta make, just like, it's fine. If I make the wrong decision, I can just come down the woods and shout tomorrow. It's all good.
I think that's it, because you were mentioning, actually talking about resilience and how you weren't strong, but you had a consistency. And I think in itself, consistency is a resilience. Keep turning up. But also what you're saying about, it doesn't matter if you make a mistake, because the sun is going to rise tomorrow. And it is in your consistency. You'll have another crack at it. There'll be another day and another day. Fail as many times as you want. You can start again tomorrow.
I think running is really, I've deep down I've kind of believed in that, but running has really showed me that there's no real wrong decision. You know what I mean? There's the decision which will get you, instead of a wrong decision, you've made a decision which will just mean it takes longer to get to where you want to go. And running really makes me feel like that. It's like you kind of got nothing to lose, I always think that. You get people who kind of put off running, and because they think, it's going to take me 6 months to get fit. And you just think, well, if you're done running 6 months time, you'll be even more unfit than you are now. You've literally got nothing to lose. And Yeah, running has really taught me that.
The one, like touching on that really, the thing, or one of the things that I've learned really, one of the big things is, we've mentioned it already, you don't need to be a master at it to be able to benefit from it. Do you know what I mean? Running especially, you can benefit a lot from just going out and jogging, and it doesn't need to be a competitive sport. It doesn't need to be in a pressure environment like a race or anything like that. I've learned that it gives me so much without the races, without the tech, without the gear. You can get so much out of it without the sort of without being a master of it, then, if that makes sense.
Yeah, perfect sense. What's your one piece of advice then? Your single most important piece of advice if someone wants to start running? If you had to tell them one thing, what would it be?
Don't compare yourself to other runners. Don't compare yourself to other people. That's the worst thing you can do, because we've mentioned that, if you go for a run, there's a whole lot of factors which could affect your run. Somebody else might be on top of the game that day, might be having it. You look at Strava, for example, you think you're comparing yourself, looking on Strava, well, he did 10K in this time. Why can't I do that? And that's just negative. That's negative thinking. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Just go and enjoy it yourself. And don't worry what other people are running. Don't worry about the distance they're running or the times that they run in. Just stop comparing yourself to everybody else. Everyone's on the same journey, on different journeys, sorry, and just concentrate on yours, definitely.
Jimmy?
Same, I think. Yeah, same. I think ask someone who like is a good friend or someone like your wife or husband or whatever. Ask them, what do you think I'm capable of as a runner? And then prove I'm wrong.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. That's different. Yeah.
Honestly, ask someone who they think they know you. What do you think I could do as a runner? And I bet they'll say something like, "Oh, you could probably do a park run and then do a 10K." Like I like other people setting my goals for me, because if I set my own goal, then I've set my own excuses of why I haven't made it, because it's my own goal. Get someone to set a goal for you, someone who knows you. Ask them to do it and then prove I'm wrong. Not in like a spiteful way, just like, see, look at that. How awesome's that?
Yeah, totally. I like that. I love proving people wrong all the time. You have a lot of naysayers. There's always there's a lot of naysayers out there because it reflects on them, doesn't it? Like perhaps they couldn't go for a 5K, so they don't think you can go for a 5K,
Totally. And what you will find is, in a weird way, by proving that person wrong, you'll inspire them to run. Do you know what I mean? Like, say that you ask your best mate, "Oh, I really want to get into running. What do you think I could do?" And they'd be like, "Oh, you could probably do like a 10K. Run a half marathon." And I bet you that person said you could only run a 10K will try and run a 10K. It'll inspire them. Do you know what I mean? So if you're going to change your life, try and rope other people into it as well.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's the corporate way. That's unlike Tolman.
Yeah. So what does the future hold for the running punks then? Where are we going? Worldwide? Hair
implants for me.
Hair implants.
Yeah.
Don't listen to other people. You don't take your own advice.
We're working on some cool things.
We are, yeah. We're looking at like the sort of nature of the community is sort of spread out around the UK and the world really. We got some running punks in a lot of running punks in the States, some in like Brazil, lots in Europe and places like that. But the majority are spread throughout the UK. So I guess one of the things we are looking at the minute is how we can bring people together, because we've mentioned how close the community is, but it is an online relationship for most people at the moment. And what we're finding, as we said about the Llanelli Half, when we do bring people together, people just, when they meet each other, they speak, they've spoken online, Twitter, Instagram and things like that. They meet somebody and they like, the feedback we get in then is like, it was so comfortable. We felt like we've known each other forever. And I think what the reason for that is because of the sort of the basis of the community being around music. A lot of people find that they've got things in common. So we want to do more things like that. We want to bring people together. And one of the things we're looking at is how we can do that in maybe like a Running Punks event, putting on our own sort of weekend, which will be, it won't be a standard sort of 10K race or anything, it'll be different to anything hopefully that other people have done before, and it'll have a Running Punk stamp on it, something unique, something wonderful, something a bit wacky, and which reflects the sort of diversity in our community, I guess, you know.
Mini festival at the end?
Hopefully. I mean, there are a lot of people within the community who play in bands, and so maybe as a first one, we will be maybe asking some favors if somebody fancies playing, and I don't know, we don't know. Freebie, please. But yeah, I love the idea, you know, and something like a festival would be amazing. Where you know, as Running Punks is all about music and running, and let's bring them together for a mad weekend where we do both. What else we got going? What else we got going, Jim?
We want to crack America. I'd like to communicate with aliens at some point. I think like if all the Running Punks got together, we could create a hive mind and communicate with extraterrestrial beings. World peace.
Is that a cult?
Yeah, world peace. I don't know, just keep on going. But I'd like just that our values stay the same. You know, no matter what comes. I definitely think Running Punk's at a stage where people are noticing us. You know, we're on people's radar quite a lot, and I think ideally, like no matter what happens, we just keep our values, because that is kind of like the good bit of Running Punks has helped to grow. So just keep it growing in a natural way, really, and consistency is key.
I think it's that's the essence of Running Punks, and like we were comparing ourselves to corporate entities at the start. I think, yeah, if you lose those values, that's when you become like the cold-hearted, just corporate brand. So keep it. Yeah, definitely.
That's when you become like a YouTube shoe reviewer.
Yeah.
That's my never to do a shoe review.
Yeah, I like it. Where can people find you guys?
I'm internationally.
Yeah, not your address. Not your address.
No, I'm in the kitchen. You're in the living room. Remember?
Yeah. Pop down.
Instagram at Running Punks, Facebook at Running Punks, and Twitter. What's Twitter again?
Twitter is at Wet Stir Fry. At Running Punks. Is it? Yeah, at Running Punks. I think we're the same. I think we're at Running Punks and everything, to be honest. Yeah.
And then www.runningpunks.com/Wet Stir Fry.
Yeah. Awesome. That's the end. That concludes it. Thank you very much.
Is it? Yeah, I feel like I've hardly talked.
I've talked. We've done over an hour and a half.
Really? Oh my
God. Brilliant.
Thank you very much. I'm going to definitely look at your Running Punk event, definitely. And I'll have to come down when you're in Cardiff, because I'm only in Penarth. Yeah, I'll have to do a run with you guys.
Every Sunday, 8:30 on a Sunday morning. The location is posted on usually Thursday, but I haven't done it yet, sorry, and it'll be on Friday morning. And it'll be a postcode posted. Just come along, join in. Fine,
I shall do it. I'll put it in my calendar as soon as I can. I can't do this Wednesday because I'm up in Carmarthenshire for a Tough Runner event, but the following Wednesday. Sunday. The following
Sunday. What's in Carmarthenshire on Sunday?
There's a Tough Runner duathlon.
Is there? Where's that then?
The National Botanic Gardens. Wales.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I know. I know. That's not far from me.
So yeah, we've got a stall there. Our first light stall. Cool. But it's an opportunity again. Like we want to meet these rockers, we call them, off their rockers. We want to meet the team Rokman, face to face. So
I might pop down. I might pop down and see you.
Yeah, come and say hello. We're in the Botanic Gardens.
All right, we'll do. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much, guys. Hope you have a good evening.
Thank you very much.
You soon.
Yeah.
Love you.
Love you too.